What is going on, guys? Alexander Thomas here. Welcome back to Gaming Time 1 2. We are in episode 6. Yes, 6 of the third part of Crushing a Girl Kidnapped. And we are to fight another boss. The good news is we will defeat this boss on the first strike, most likely. Let's go ahead and get into this. Because I did roll all the dice prints, and the card hits him with everyone that does the same minimum damage. And Scarlett herself is going to do a grand total just by herself, that not including anything. It's 2 times 11 plus the 6-sided die, which is 6. So that's 28 damage. He only has 68 health. So, and everyone hits it. Now, unfortunately, does not have the whip thing in 4, so he's just going to be doing his normal 1d20, which is plus 16. That's 44. The dog and the cat do total damage of 10. It's got to save. And Alexander will do his but they're all critical. I forgot about that. That's double it's double everything. So deals It's double. I forgot everything's double because we hit critical on every one of them. Can we just get through this and not have to deal with any more of these? Why is he throwing dice at us, by the way? Is that what he was trying to do? To say dice of fate. Our fate clearly is, you lose. By the way, all those were 18s.
Alexander, Scarlett, the Gnasher, and the stitched werecat surge in with steel, claws, and snapping jaws. But the Crypt Warden's chains whip and its hulking frame pivots just out of reach. Every blow skidding on iron bone, or cutting only stale air as its dice of fate rattle with cold amusement.
Miss. Okay, so the dog and the cat both miss. Alexander does critical. Alexander and Scarlett do both critical. She goes up to 24 plus the roll 3. And Alexander does his roll critical and back to his fuller form. So he does this times 2 doubled. And that's a 19. So that's 103 damage. We're getting luckier in the end of these things. I think the dice are just rolling. Finally, we just...
Alexander drives his halberd straight through the Crypt Warden's ribcage as Scarlett and the beasts tear at its chains. And with a grinding shriek, the iron-crowned horror explodes into dust and clattering dice that skitter across the stone. The chamber suddenly echoing with stunned, with a final, rattling shudder, the Crypt Warden collapses. Chains and bones sloughing into dust around its fallen halo, leaving only a cold, still hush pressing against your ears. The old gambler clears his throat as if brushing cobwebs from a coat. then inclines his head with reluctant respect. Well struck, he concedes. The Undercrypt's own enforcer, broken at your hands, a feat worth remembering. He nudges one of the fallen warden's iron dice with the toe of his boot, sending it clicking back toward the table. But our little interruption is over, he adds softly, eyes gleaming as he settles once more behind the worn wood and curls his fingers around his dice. The game for gold and garments still stands. 1 win to you, none to me. Now, shall we see what the next throw brings?
Yay, I think that works. Hope we can get this done. We just need 1-6 basically each time, I think.
Dice thrum across the scarred wood. Lily's 3, Scarlett's lonely 1, and Alexander's hard, perfect 6, while the old man's 5 comes up just shy,
We
leaving him staring at the spread as a second, undeniable victory settles in your favour, at 2 wins to none. His smile thinning as if something vital has just slipped out of his grasp.
Alexander, he unfortunately rolled a 6. They did not roll well at all, my goodness. Rolled 6, 1. Will I go and catch up? So I don't know what happens now because he rolled a 6 and we rolled 6s. Come on. So we'll get that. I feel like, though, the game is going to end with both of them. Par rolled 6-1-1. Nope, sorry, 1-1. Not, sorry. 6-1. that might be it, though. I think we might get it. We tied those. That might not count.
The dice tumble and clatter. Alexander's 6, Lily's 1, Scarlett's 1. Coming to rest just as the old man's own die shows a mocking 6, the air tightening around the table as the third throw hangs between you. Not a loss, but not a win. Frozen. Ooh. Perfect time leaves the score still 2-0 in your favor, while his smile slowly thin and hungry. Ah, he murmurs, fingertips resting on the bone. Even chance self flinches when the stakes are this bare.
That should be it. We finally have gone past this thing. And this is story 10, 11, and 10, 12, and 13 all at once. So
Alexander's 3, Lily's 4, and Scarlett's clean 5 skid to a halt against the old man's lonely 3. The spread so lopsided it looks almost cruel as the table itself seems to lean toward your side. For a heartbeat, his smile simply vanishes. Then he exhales a dry laugh and lifts his hands from the dice. 3 wins to none, he concedes, voice thin. 900 gold it is, and your clothes, drat you, remain yours.
1,500 gold now. And Lily needs to heal, by the way. And Scarlett needs to heal. Lily probably does too, but I don't really know what to do with that. Put those things back.
The old man rises, smoothing his frayed coat as the candles steady, eyes crinkling with something like rueful admiration. A bargain kept is a bargain kept, he says quietly. Take your winnings and your modesty both, little paladins. Leave this pit with your gold and your girl intact, and count yourselves in my hall. He steps back from the table, already half shadow, his voice echoing from the dark as you gather yourselves. But you come again another night, he calls, almost gently. Next time, we'll play only for fun, and I'll not ask a single stitch from your backs.
Alexander is, I guess, technically a paladin. Scarlett is not a paladin. I don't even know what she is, and I can't even tell you what Lily is. Weird. Yeah, so we're going to go outside. There's now room 101. All the doors. So all the other doors, except for room 101, are gone.
Stepping through door 75, you emerge into a stark stone landing, where every archway has vanished into blank wall, leaving only a single presence. Door 101. A tall, black iron slab banded in dragon-etched bars that pulse faintly like a heartbeat beneath the metal. As you draw near, the sigils flare, and a low, grinding rumble crawls up from beyond the threshold. As the company hesitates before door 101, its dragon etched bars flare white-hot, and a hulking, iron-hearted drake-spawn tears through in a storm of shattered wards, iron scales gleaming with furnace light as it lunges. Its tail, heavy as a falling portcullis, slams sideways into the stone, and breaks her armor with shrieking metal, leaving her gasping as the beast wheels toward the rest of you, smoke rolling from its jaws.
Alexander's got critical. Everyone else are just going to be doing normal damage. I'm going to go ahead and leave this thing for a moment here. We're going to be fighting this on level 7, which will be the last, hopefully the last boss for exit adventure, because it's all sudden like collapsed. Wow, Scarlett didn't heal. She should have healed. Good news is she gets to do the most damage of everyone. That's about the only good news we've got. We're going to do damage. Let's go back because it looks like it failed. Exit adventure because it fails. Alexander does critical 20. That's a 15. But doubles 30. So am I going to do that? Scarlett does 6 plus the bunch of things here. My good grief. She does another 30 damage. And it collapsed again. And the cat hits for 3. And the dog hits for 4. Alexander does double damage. No, Alexander does do double damage, so we get another 30 off of that. But that's 103, which is not enough. A dragon. Which isn't enough. So Scarlett needs to heal. So if she gets hit again, we're gonna have a problem. We might have a problem. I know where the story should end. And it should end now. After we hit the dragon. And we missed.
Steel, claw, and spell crash into the iron-hearted drakespawn in a coordinated storm, tearing scales free and driving the beast skidding backward in a screech of metal as its furnace glow gutters to a desperate ember, while the trapdoor Gnasher hurls itself at its hind leg, worrying at raw iron flesh with furious snaps, reeling yet not fallen. The drake's spawn whips around with a heartband pulse that slams into Alexander like a ringing anvil, blasting him across the stone and leaving his ribs singing with pain as the werecat braces beside him, and the beast staggers on, with only a sliver of life left.
Everyone probably gets critical here. Everyone gets critical. Okay, the cat doesn't get critical. And he doesn't get critical. The dog doesn't get critical. But we don't get critical. Alexander does 24 damage. So that's 24. Her attack, which is going to be added 116 times, is 16 times 2 plus 6 plus the next 2, so 2 plus 32. That's 6, 32. That puts us at 54, and the cat and dog both hit, but they both hit normal, like small hits. They're not gonna hit much. I don't think it matters. We'll say they both missed, just because he's at 8 health left. That's plenty enough to kill him. Yeah, at this point, I mean, seriously. First off, he get the potion for once for things, because there was so many things.
Blades, claws, and holy resolve crash down in a final, staggering volley that drives the iron-hearted drakespawn to its knees. Iron scale splitting as its furnace core gutters to black. As it falls, the creature lifts its heavy head and gives a slow, almost solemn nod, as if acknowledging that the trial is complete, before collapsing into smoking fragments that fade, leaving only the sealed weight of door 101 and the echo of its unspoken approval in the still air. As the last echo of the iron-hearted drakespawn's fall fades, one heavy furnace-bright scale remains, cooling from ember red to a steady warm glow at Alexander's feet, like a quiet commendation from Guardian. Scarlett and Lily help each other straighten battered armor and shaken breaths as door 101 looms before you, now the only way forward, the final path toward the dragon-buried vault and the sealing of the Undercrypt's awakening power.
believe we should be at the end of the story. There was so much combat. This story took so long. It's finally at this point. We're at turn 183. The second part ended at 77.
The shared glow of the full party potion washes through you like warm dawn, mending battered ribs and seared muscles until every breath comes easy again. You step through door 101, and instead of more crypt dark, you emerge into a sunlit colonnade where hundreds line a long aisle, cheering and showering petals, as at the far end, framed by the light, stand Scarlett's parents, waiting with eyes bright and unreadable as they behold what you have become.
This took so long. We're finally gonna get to the end. There was so much more combat than there needed to be.
Scarlett's mother's voice carries over the roar of the crowd. Soft but steady. The quest is complete, and so are you two. Now kiss, and the vows will be sealed. Scarlett's fingers find Alexander's, trembling, and as they lean together beneath the rain of petals. Their kiss is met with a thunder of cheers that feels like a blessing from the whole waking world, binding love, trial, and triumph into a single, shining moment.
And we don't need this. We are finally done with that entire series. I don't really care. We're not doing this again. The dog level's up too. I don't know what the dog's going to get. We're just going to put it at +4, whatever it is. It gets an ability. We'll worry about that later. Craft abilities. What is a dog going to craft? A bone? After all that, what was that? 184 turns. To go and calculate that, 184 minus 40, which is the first adventure, minus 37. So this second part was 107 turns. I had no idea and no possibility ever thinking that this would. I don't know. I never would have said this adventure would last so long. This was the 7th episode, actually, to be honest. That was 14 total episodes for just that adventure. This entire series we put on one playlist, and we will not be doing this one again. At least this makes sense, except for the fact that all of a sudden we're completely different colors. And she's still 22. So she now has gold hair. I don't know whatever happened to Lily. At least I look close to the actual portion. But at least now it makes sense in the context of the story. That's it for this adventure. I'm gonna hold on to this adventure, but there is no way, any chance I do this one again. Thank you guys for watching. I know this was a much longer adventure than what was intended, but that is it. 14 adventures onto this one story, which is really 3 different stories all combined into one. Thank you guys for watching. I will see you in the next video. I will see you guys in the next story, which hopefully will not be nearly as long as this one was, which will be story 14, which will be called Lost Unicorn. I will see you guys in the next episode. Don't forget to keep your game on. Thank you guys for watching this incredibly long series.